I think one thing that I do that holds my business back is I feel like I'm getting better at this, but I feel like this is true for most entrepreneurs is it's very hard to let go of control. I'm sure a lot of you listening can relate. Even if you don't have a team, even if it's literally just yourself, like it is very, very hard to let go of creative control, especially because I think that so much of, especially my industry, like what we do and what we put out there really is a lot like my voice, my face, and how I present myself to the world. And so it can feel really scary and vulnerable if, something doesn't feel right and it's put out there and then, it reflects back on me personally. And so I think that it's something we have to learn. And luckily, I am very lucky. I feel like with all of you guys that I trust each of you immensely. And I know that you have not only my best interests at heart, but truly each other's best interests and our community's best interests at heart, which is rare to come by. Yes. If you can watch this video, little hearts thrown up. Um, but I think it is a learning process. It is something that I have to actively unlearn. Um, Not feeling so like this is all on me. I have to do this by myself or else there's no one else to do it. It's just a hard thing to unlearn. And I think part of that is not just business. I think it also extends back into my childhood because I was the oldest and because we were immigrants. I think just growing up in an immigrant household is a unique experience because so much of the communication pressures and how even your parents interact with outside world is put on you. And so like, as a young child, like sometimes I'd be the person calling, the bill company to negotiate a bill and I'm like 7, so it's like little little things like that. Or, like with like school field trips, normally like your parents kind of like take care of everything, but it's like I was the one who's like organizing forms and coming to them and being like, okay, you sign here, we got to get this check in, do this, do that. So it's like very much like this mentality that like you have to do it by yourself or else no one's going to do it for you. But I think that ultimately, when you have that mentality, it's actually not very healthy. So that's something I'm working on. And then something that's an advantage in my business, I think my superpower has always been networking. I think it's very easy for me to build relationships with people all over. And there's many people that I've met just like one time, or maybe even never met. And yet we've formed like a very close relationship. And I think my ability to put myself out there and connect with people is definitely the best superpower I have.
Do you think you've always had that or you've like learned more about it?
I think, honestly, I think it is. I mean, definitely I've gotten better at it, right? Like nowadays, I actually probably have more strategy, but as a little kid, I definitely still did it. Like I've always been that person who has not been afraid to reach out and just see what happens, like contact people who I didn't think would ever get back to me. I remember one time, I remember one time I cold called the the Miss USA organization. I was like, "Hey, I want to interview Miss USA, and I would like to know who I need to speak to do that." And they're probably thinking, like, "Who the heck are you? Like, I don't even know you at all." But sometimes when you show up in a place and you just act like you know what you're doing, people will open doors for you. And I did. I landed an interview with Miss USA and I had no credentials, right? I had nothing there. Or like my first job was something I pitched to the owners. I've just always like I've just always felt like the worst thing someone can say is no, and the answer would have been no anyway. So why not try?
I think you beam confidence. And I think that's a huge thing. You just use that when you think you know what you're doing or you know what you want, people, they can feel that. So, a really great example is if you walk into an organization with a clipboard or a ladder, they're not going to question you. They're going to be like, that person knows what they're doing. They're here for a reason. And I feel like you beam that energy.
Thank you. That means a lot.